FightersRep 6 War Machines. Saturday, April 27th at the Ames Sportsplex in Seal Beach, California. Tickets now on sale at FightersRep.com. Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, I'm here with the man in the U.S. and Japan. Victor Henry, finally, man. I finally caught up with you. How you doing, champ?
Doing all right, man. Better now that I'm number one in 2 different countries.
Wow.
We just got done practicing here at CMMA and Wednesday sparring, so it's pretty good, man. You know, nice and tired and getting it with all the animals over here.
And Wednesday sparring, that's when the big dogs come out.
The big dogs, the fat dogs, the skinny dogs, the hungry dogs, man. They're all over here. You know, amateurs, pros, we're all over here doing it. Yeah.
Vic, you went out to Japan. Was it March 9th?
Was it March 9th? Yeah, it was March 9th. Yeah, March 9th. Yeah.
You went out there and you became the champ.
The champion of Deep. Yeah, there's a few organizations out there. Deep is one of the bigger ones. Pancras, of course, is out there. Ryzen, of course, is out there.
Yeah.
Waiting to get a call, man. I mean, I beat the number 1 guy in Japan outside of Ryzen. I really don't know what else to do. Whose baby I gotta eat. You know, whose butt I got to massage, you know. There's guys getting calls, and, you know, respect to them getting calls.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like just sitting here, you know, fighting all over the world, which is what it's about, so.
You know, I'm going to just interject my personal opinion here. I watched you fight at CXF not too long ago. I've never seen such persistence and focus, and you know, definitely you're one of the best guys that I've seen that's not in the UFC. You just became champ in Deep. You're killing it over here. When do you think you'll get that call?
I suppose I get the call when the time is right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody kind of operates on their own timing. When I get the call is when I get the call, man. I mean, it's in my opinion, the only reason why I'm not so stressed about it is because when I started fighting, it was about traveling and fighting. Somewhere along the lines, I think people kind of maybe think, oh, I want to fight for a certain company. I want to fight for this one. I was like, yeah, I want to fight for, you know, whoever's paying the most, because not everybody wants to do this thing for free, but I would feel like I'm going back on why I even started.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not true to yourself. Yeah. You know, of course, they're doing they're the ones with the big paychecks and everything. But, you know, if I'm going to stay true to myself, I got to keep fighting whoever it is.
So 17-4 now, holding a title in Japan. In this sort of, it's already a pretty long career, 17-4 in MMA, you know, and a lot of success, obviously. What's been like the highest point for you?
The highest point, honestly, is probably that first fight.
Wow.
Yeah, that first fight. For those of you who don't know, when I had that first fight, it was almost immediately after my last loss. And my last loss in amateur to Jerry Shapiro over at Cobra Kai. And he's still, to this day, the only one that's ever finished me. So,
wow.
Yeah, so, I mean, props to him. But, you know, when I first started training with Josh, it was after my original team had broke up, and Josh calls me, he goes, get your ass to CSW. I said, I ain't got no money, and he goes, just get your ass to CSW. He shows up, says, you got to fight in a couple weeks, pro, and I was like, oh shit, I just lost my last amateur fight, and he goes, see you later, and he takes off to Europe.
Wow.
Yeah, so then he shows up, you know, a couple days before my weigh-in, and he goes, all right, weigh-in went all right? Yeah. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. And I showed up, and my back was hurting, everything was hurting, but I was like, I'm not pulling out of this fight, no matter what. So I went in and I did well, and for me that was the highest point, because I remember a few people close to me saying, why even pursue fighting? Why do this? Why do that? You know, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna do it because I want to do it. And that, you know, obviously that fight happened and it went my way. You know, and that was, I remember other than just the fighting, there was a lot of emotional things going into that. You know, I can fight professionally. And the guy I fought professionally, his MMA record didn't reflect the 40-plus pro Muay Thai fights that he had.
Wow.
That I didn't know he had until after I fought him.
I see.
So,
I see. And you beat this guy.
And I beat him.
And was he trying to strike with you? I mean,
he was trying to strike me, and he almost submitted me in the first round.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I ended up getting the submission in the second.
Very nice, Victor, man. When someone talks to you, I don't think they get your fighter personality through speaking to you. You know, you're pretty intelligent, seemingly to me. You're
You must be lonely.
yeah. You're in a good mood most of the time that I've seen you. You've been easy to talk to, lighthearted seemingly. And then when I watch you fight, it's almost like those flies, that kind of run into the window over and over again. Yeah. It just you don't stop coming. I mean, does something switch on in your head when you get in there? Are you a different person in there? I know it's cliche. Some people say they change, but you really take on a kind of scary persona in there. Is that?
Yeah, well, a lot of that I attribute to Josh. Of course, relentless pressure, just going for it, and never giving up. That's kind of like the samurai spirit that Josh tries to instill in all of the fighters. And just honesty to yourself. There's a lot of fighters that give up on themselves in the middle of a fight, and I don't understand it. I mean, for me, I'm gonna go until I can't. No matter how tired I am. When I fought that last CXF fight, I remember leaning up against the cage, having my opponent pinned up against the cage, and thinking, man, this is a tough fight. And then I hear Chad say, 2 more minutes. And I'm thinking, fuck, I've been in here for an hour already. But, I just kind of, and then just kept going.
That was grueling, and you came back and took over.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, of course that first round was his. He caught me slipping. He did to me what I wanted to do to him.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was a moment in the second or the third round that belonged to him. Everything was just me going blah, 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 and just going forward, and hitting, and foot sweeping and kicking, and there was a lot going on. But was it a split decision? Not in my opinion, but the judges saw it that way.
Yeah, no, I thought you totally took over the second and third round. I would agree with that. So when you're saying Josh, obviously you're referring to Josh Barnett. For those that don't know, obviously a very decorated fighter. And you mentioned Chad. So Chad George here at CMMA, where you're training today. Mm-hmm. You're out here in SoCal, and you're getting some extremely high quality training and experience. How's it been training with Josh, and then how's it been also training together with Chad? You guys kind of, I guess, go back and forth, right?
Yeah, well, training with Josh, a lot of people don't realize it, but Josh is actually a lighthearted guy also. The only thing is that when people start coming, I mean, you have to come at it with his kind of perspective. People come up to him all the time, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. And you're talking to somebody who's already done it. He's been the champion of the UFC. He's fought in major organizations. He's done it. So he's probably heard it millions of times. I want to fight, I want to do this, I want to do that. And the upsetting part is, I know Josh does not want to see people fail. He wants to see people succeed and do things, and fulfill all their dreams. But when they come up to people, when they came up to him and say they want to do this and they want to do that, but they're not willing to put in the work, well, then that's when Josh gets disdain for people like that. And so when I started training with Josh, and he would see me grapple, and he would go, that doesn't work. And people usually would be like, they would shut down and, kind of be like, oh, I guess, whatever. But me, I had an attitude. I'd be like, why? Why doesn't it work? And he goes, okay, and he'd show me. I'd be like, all right. And I try it, and I fail, completely fail, but then it'll work once. Yeah. And then I'll be like, okay, and then it works a second time, and the third time. And then now I go on to something else, and he goes, that won't work. Why? So I questioned. And then I digested the information, and then I did it. And then when it came to grappling tournaments, when it came to all sorts of fights, I was just like, okay, Josh, let's do this. And when he saw that I was honestly trying to do the things that he was asking me to do, that's when the fighter-coach relationship really developed between Josh and I. Because people won't really do what he's asking, and it boggles my mind. If you're gonna have a legend tell you what to do,
Just do it.
Do it. Ask questions later. Just do it. Ask, and then be like, okay, this is why. And then between you two, you can be like, okay, well, this doesn't work for me because of my body type, where I just don't feel like I have the strength to do it. So that's Josh. As far as Chad goes, I've been training with Chad ever since he was at the original PKG location, and it's always been like, I can train with him. I can train with him. And then I was working my job over in Southgate, and he would invite me to spar over on Saturdays, and sometimes he could make it, sometimes I couldn't, depending on what times I got off of work. But then now he's got his own location here, and And Josh has got a really good relationship with Chad, and me and the rest of the UWF guys come here and we train. And yeah, Chad and I, we go back and forth grappling sometimes, and sometimes he's just whooping my ass, and sometimes I'm getting on him.
Yeah.
I feel as if Chad's grappling has made tremendous leaps and bounds over the past couple of years because he stayed competitive and he stayed on the path, you know. And he's one of the pioneers for the little guys.
And I'm sure it's helped you quite a bit training with a guy like Chad.
Absolutely, yeah. His submission game is predicated and focused around, you know, top positions, and you know, he's been playing with a lot of the leg lock stuff because he's been getting to very specific aspects of grappling the way it is today, and he's getting good at all that, you know. So it's good to see because now I'm training against, you know, some of the top guys, and I'm seeing all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, who in the UFC is really doing that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, Victor, my goodness, man, thank you so much for your time. Definitely, I mean, without a doubt, one of the best fighters, if not the best fighter that's not in the UFC right now, in my opinion. Chad George is... What are you doing back here?
Nothing.
Before I let you go, Victor, anyone you want to shout out, anything you want to say before I cut you off here?
Of course, you know, I want to thank my coaches, you know, Chad George, Josh Barnett. I want to thank everybody who's ever doubted me.
Yeah.
Because screw you, and everybody who's ever supported me. Because obviously, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. Actually, I think I still would. You'd be on the other side because I'm doing this for me, not you guys. Screw you guys too.
I love it. Thank you so much,
you guys.
Victor. Appreciate
Thank you
you.
very much.